key, a universal key to many things.
Understandable. Creative. Effective.
Interesting. Learn the Ielts secrets with us.
Hello everyone. Hello observant IELTS learners. Are you ready to learn the key secrets of IELTS exam? If so, we could start. Come closer to your TV because today we have decided to give you a real speaking atmosphere one more time as we promised it in our last program. Today's our guests are from the Merit High School, Miss Farida and her student. And today they have prepared an interesting and useful speaking mock exam for you. Now, let's watch it together and learn some tips from this video.
Hello,
Hi, good morning.
my name is Farida and I'm going to be your speaking examiner today. Can I have your full name, please?
My name is Nader Mirkhojaev.
Nader, can I have your identification card, please?
Sure. Here.
Thank you. Thank you. So, this is yours. Nader, we're going to start our speaking exam. Questions will be mainly about daily topics. Part 1, I give you different questions about you. Part 2, I give you some time to prepare, where you will be talking about a topic where you are asked to describe something from 1 to 2 minutes. And in part 3, I give you different questions related to part 2. All right?
Yeah.
If you are ready, we can start.
I'm ready. Yeah.
And this exam is going to be recorded. So Nader, tell me a little bit about yourself. Do you work or are you a student?
Right now, currently I'm a student, but yeah, I'm studying at Merit College, which is in Shahristan Underground. But I'm planning to apply for the university called INHA.
Okay, can you describe the place where you live?
I live in Mirza Ulugh, which is really beautiful, really full of people and full of entertainment places. That's placed in southwest of Tashkent, and yeah, it has many entertainment places where you can go and hang out with your friends.
Okay, let's talk about snacks. What is your opinion of snacks between meals?
That's a good question. Okay, so if we talk about snacks, snacks are not really helpful, I would say, for you, because you have to get a full meal, let's say that, to not to be hungry and not to starve.
Is it healthy to eat snacks?
It depends actually, because if you eat chips, for example, or cookies, they're not really healthy for your body, and it has many calories in them. And
what kind of snacks do you like to eat?
Personally, I don't really like snacks, but I'll prefer chips. Yeah, chips and other snacks like that.
Okay, let's talk about names. Is there any tradition about naming babies in your country?
Yeah, actually there is a tradition. So basically we have a book which contains 14,000 names, and people choose from this book names for their babies. For example, my name, Nader, it has definition which is like supreme or something like that.
How do you choose names for next generation?
I don't think that this tradition will be changed somehow. I think in Uzbekistan we we'll stay in this tradition as we are right now.
Does your name have any special meaning?
Yeah, as I've mentioned, it has meaning which is supreme, or like comes in like once in hundreds, something like that. Yeah.
Do you like your name, or would you rather like to change it?
I do like my name, but if I get a chance, I would have changed it. Yeah.
I'd like to change the topic to birthdays. Is it important for you to celebrate your birthday?
I don't really celebrate my birthday because I'm kind of religious person. In my religion, we don't have like that celebration. Yeah.
How did you celebrate your last birthday?
Okay, so basically I was at college. So once I came in, everyone started to celebrating me, you know, telling me, hey, Nader, congratulations with your 16th birthday, and giving me some gifts. Yeah.
What kind of birthday gifts do you like to receive?
Okay, that's a good question. I prefer money, of course, because like I can use money for everything, basically to buy any gift, anything I want.
Thank you. That's the end of part 1. Now let's move to part 2. Okay? So you have 1 minute to prepare. This is the paper and a pencil if you wish to take notes.
Thank you.
And this is your question paper. Your time to prepare starts now. You may start speaking now if you are ready. So the question is, describe a crowded place you've been to. Start.
Okay, so in 2016, we, probably me and with my family, went to the vacation to the Paris. So the crowded place was Eiffel Tower. It was a really nice place. It contains many shops, and it has many souvenirs where you can buy the small copy of the Eiffel Tower. So I went there with my dad, mom, brother, and my sister. So this place was really, you know, not boring, but rather interesting and like really amazing. So if you went up to the 32nd floor, if I'm not mistaken, the view which you can see is like really amazing. You will be enjoying this place if you had stayed there for a long time.
Okay, thank you. Now, can I have the papers back, please?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. Now, let's move to part 3, which is the final part. And I would like to give you some questions related to part 2. All right?
Yeah.
So, question number 1. Why do a lot of people enjoy going to crowded places?
Okay, so it depends on person, because some people enjoy to hang out in the crowded places, for example, in studios maybe, or in concerts, or you know, in other entertainment places. And the other type of people, they don't really enjoy hanging out in crowded places because they're not social. They're not sociable, I would say. They have antisocial life. They don't like to communicate, to get in touch with people, and yeah.
Where or what would you say is the most crowded place in your city?
Actually, there are many crowded places, but I'm gonna go with one, which is Anhor Park. It is an entertainment place which contains many, for example, karting or shooting or jumping places. Yeah, I've seen statistics, and it says that like around 1,000 people visit this place per day, which is approximately 30,000 people in months. Yeah, 300,000.
Very good. And do you think if these numbers keep growing?
If, for example, tourists will be coming, then yes, this number will be growing up, and up.
Mm-hmm. Would you say it's important for a city to have amusement parks?
Excuse me, can I repeat the question?
Of course. Would you say it's important for a city to have amusement parks?
Yeah, it's really important because you know, Uzbekistan is really is an ancient country, and if we stop building these amusement parks, then tourists will just stop coming to this country and just leave this country alone, I would say. And
So do you think tourists come only for amusement parks to Uzbekistan?
No, not only, but there are actually many other places, for example, restaurants or ancient buildings.
Mm-hmm. Why do you think people choose to live in big cities despite certain problems?
I didn't really get it.
So some people decide to live in big cities, in capitals, in cities where millions of people live. But there are some problems, right? Why do people still choose to live in big cities?
Okay, so basically big cities contain many advanced technologies, right? And they ignore these problems, for example, problems with pollution or problems with traffic jam, because they don't want to live in cities that, like, they're not modern, I would say. They don't really contain anything which is related to 21st century, which is a century of technologies. And yeah.
How do you think cities overseas are different from those cities in your country?
Okay, if I got you right, then, for example, Western cities, they're more advanced in terms of technologies, in terms of what else is there? In terms of almost everything, I would say. But in Uzbekistan, we're still improving our everything. In short, everything. For example, like economy and stuff related to the government, and yeah.
Okay, would you say urban planning is important for a city?
Urban planning.
Yes, urban planning, like infrastructure, planning everything, what's to build in the city, is it important for a city?
Yeah, no, actually it depends, because, like, for example, there are some cities which people don't really visit, or neither do they live there. But for example, let's say we take into consideration Tashkent. Then yeah, infrastructure and urban planning is really important here, because millions of people here, they live here and visit here. Yeah.
So it is important.
Yeah, it is really important.
All right, that's the end of part 3, and that's the end of our speaking exam. You may now take a deep breath.
Okay, thanks.
Congratulations. You have successfully finished the exam, and your marks will be announced together with your main test. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now we have watched video mock exam together, and I believe you have learned some tips and some vocabularies, useful vocabularies from this video. If so, we are so happy. Now let me introduce our today's teacher, Miss Farida is working in Merit High School, and she has so many students who are taking high band score on the IELTS exam. Hello, Farida, welcome to our studio. I'm very happy to see you here.
Hello, thank you so much for your invitation.
Thank you for your visit too. Before talking about the mock exam which you have taken now, please introduce yourself fully for our viewers and tell a little bit about your IELTS history.
Hi all, my name is Farida. I work in Merit College for a year now, but I am with Merit family with more than 3 years. It's really good to work with the youngest generation of our country who are so ambitious, enthusiastic, who have a lot of goals and fresh minds.
Very good. Farida, it is interesting for me, not only for me, but also for our viewers. How long have you been learning English and how much time did you spend taking IELTS?
Okay, if I talk about my language learning path, I started learning English when I was 7 years old. Maybe it's because I studied at a specialized boarding school and our main subjects were English and IT. So I'm 25 years old now. I didn't study only English, but I liked it very much. So I paid more attention to English than other subjects. So if we just generalize it, it's more than 18 years. But I studied most, I guess, during my university years, 4 years, 4 or 5 years.
What about your IELTS history?
Yes, I took IELTS in 2022, January, a year ago, and my band score was 8.5. Would you like me to tell each section?
Yes, it would be better if you show your certificate for our viewers and tell your band score according to skills.
So if you look at my certificate, I got 9 band score from listening and 8 from reading. Writing was 7.5 and speaking was 8.5. So overall, band score is 8.5.
Very good results. I congratulate you on gaining such high results on the IELTS exam. We know it requires much more hard working, and you could achieve this result.
Thank you.
Now let's start speaking about your mock exam which you have taken now with your students. Which band score did you give your students?
All right, our student, not that big, showed very good performance in IELTS speaking mock exam, but I would like to highlight one point that I'm a huge fan of this assessment criteria, which is band descriptors, and I always like to read them carefully before giving any score to a candidate. So today, according to fluency and coherence, I gave him 6. I really would like to give him 7, but his performance in part 2 and part 3 were a little bit hesitant, so I decided to give 6. Lexical resource was 6 as well. Grammatical range and accuracy was also 6, and pronunciation 6 again. So overall, band score is 6 to our student, which he also showed in his last IELTS exam. So I guess it's not bad, it's good, but still there is some room for improvement.
Yes, you are right. Let's talk about improving speaking skills. Most of students can stack 1 point like 6 or 6.5 on their speaking exam. How can you help your students to get a 7 or higher than 7 on their speaking exam? For what a learner should pay attention to more get a higher result on their speaking exam?
Sure, that happens a lot when students are stuck in 6 and they want to get 7 or more, or they are stuck at 7 and they want to get higher. So my personal suggestion would be to look at the assessment criteria again for the students as well, because it's not only for the instructors or for IELTS trainers, it's for the candidates as well, and it's for public, right? So before taking the test, they need to pay attention to what they are going to be scored for. And if their current score is 6 for fluency and cohesion, or coherence, I guess they need to read what they are lacking. If they are lacking complex grammar structures, complex vocabulary, or they need to improve their pronunciation. So I guess it's all in small details. If we look in here, for example, the difference between 6 and 7 is very small. If you read it carefully and you just fill in the gap, what you are lacking, I guess it's really easy to improve their score in 2 or 3 months. Again, it depends on the student and how hardworking they are. And while they are preparing for IELTS exam, also they need to pay attention not only to the language, but also their background knowledge. Sometimes we have that language, we know what to say, but we know how to say it actually, but we don't know what to say. We lack ideas. That's because we don't maybe have enough information about the topic that you are asking. In Noderbek's case, for example, he mentioned a lot of yous in his performance. He said you, when you go, when you listen, right? And this is also a very small but noticeable mistake that candidate is using you in the questions where he has to talk about himself, right? And in some points, saying you or using you too much kind of puts pressure onto the examiner. So I would avoid that. And I would also pay attention to the pronunciation. That's very underrated among our students nowadays. They learn a lot of fancy vocabulary, they learn good grammar, but pronunciation sometimes may pull from their legs, I would say. So in our student's case today, the question was about the crowded place where he talked about Paris and Eiffel Tower, where he kept mentioning Eiffel Tower, but the correct pronunciation was Eiffel Tower. And he said tower. The correct version would be tower again, right? So these are very small maybe in someone's eyes, but still they mean something when you are getting
These kind
the score.
of small mistakes also affects candidates' band score, right?
Yes.
Overall band score.
Always.
Okay. You know, most of students think that speaking part of the IELTS exam much more difficult compared to other skills like listening and reading. And I don't know why most of students have a kind of fear or excitement while you are answering speaking questions. And what can they do in order to avoid their fear and excitement while they are answering speaking questions?
Yes, that may be because of the overall personality of a person. We know some students are quite shy and they do not like to talk about their preferences or what do they do in their free time, or it's just they are not that open yet. And while they are taking an exam, again they are being recorded. Their voice is going to be recorded, and the person who's sitting next to them is a complete stranger. So it's better to practice that special environment, I would say. While I was getting prepared, my teacher would always record my voice, and not only my voice, but my overall performance, how I behaved myself during the exam, or how I performed, how I acted, how I said, or how I used the special linking words. And I saw it from the video, and it really helped, and it somehow helped me to increase my confidence.
That's why we are taking such kind of mock speaking exams with students in order to help them to improve their speaking skills. And I want to ask you one more question. You got 8.5 band score on your speaking exam, right? What is the secret of it?
Well, a lot of people gave me that question. In my view, it's just the tip of the iceberg that you're seeing. You're seeing the result, 8.5, but there is a lot of hard work, sleepless nights, and I would say a lot of stress and time-consuming process of learning new words, watching videos, and spending a lot of time on the test itself. is something that people do not see usually, right?
Yes.
And I would say the secret is really simple: hard work and discipline.
Yes, you are right. Practice makes everyone perfect, but there is one thing that every student should know how to practice well. I mean, the true practice, correct practice is another thing.
Of course.
How do you think? How should learners practice? I mean, what kind of ways they should
Yeah.
practice?
Okay, I know some students prepare, and that's exhausting, right? And they spend a lot of time with books, with new words, or with something that they didn't know before, and it might be challenging for them. And I would advise to especially these youngsters who are preparing and they have a lot of friends, right?
Yes.
I would advise them to use their friends as a study buddy, where they can learn from each other, they can spend their time together learning something together, and it would be really good one as a competition as well. Competition really helps. So while I was preparing, I had my friend, we were almost in the same level, our levels were the same, and she was better than me in writing, I was better than her in speaking maybe, but we always used our strong points against like each other, and we tried to be better than each other every day, and it really helped somehow. So my advice would be find somebody who is on the same path as you and study together. Take the test on the same day and prepare together and be motivation to each other.
Very good. Ms. Farida, thank you for your advice and your participation in our program, in our studio. I'm very happy to have a conversation, and I'm really enjoyed the conversation with you. And I want to end up our conversation with your motivation for our learners to continue learning process for the Ielts exam.
Yes, thank you so much for inviting me. It's a great honor and pleasure to, if my advice helped anyone who is watching this program, and a piece of motivation for the day would be learning and studying take you to much further places, like further than you can imagine.
Thank you very much one more time. We wish you all success in your future career. Be happy, be healthy, be powerful to teach your students, to help your students to get a high band score on the Ielts exam.
Thank you so much.
Dear learners, continue watching. Now we have a time to have conversation, another big, about his mock exam as well as his Ielts exam. Dear learners, let's go on the conversation with Naderbek. Naderbek, good day. Welcome to our studio. I'm very happy to see you here.
Very happy to see you too.
Thank you for your visit.
Thank you too.
Before starting our conversation about your mock exam and about your Ielts exam, please introduce yourself fully for our viewers.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Nader. I've taken the IELTS recently and got 6. Would you like me to tell all the scores right now?
It would be interesting for our learners for your band score according to skills.
Okay, so I got 6.5 from listening, 6 from reading, 5.5 from writing, and 6.5 from my speaking exam.
Very good result. I congratulate you on gaining 6 band score on the Ielts exam. You got these results, although you are very young, right?
Yeah, I am very young, but like I'd been studying English for 9 years, so like that's kind of disappointing, but at the same time it's good because I got 6 from the first try.
Very good. How was your real Ielts exam? Was it difficult compared to Cambridge Ielts materials or Oz Ielts materials, or not?
Okay, so judging from sections, for example, speaking exam wasn't really hard, wasn't really difficult, but like one thing I didn't do before exam, I didn't practice, I didn't improve my speaking well, so I got like 6.5. and from listening. Listening wasn't that hard because like Cambridge listening exams, like they are faster than the real exam. For example, during section 1 and section 2, they're giving you time. For example, in Cambridge exam, they're giving 30 seconds, while in real exam, they give you 1 minute. So from reading, reading was a bit difficult. I've struggled with completing the summary and with A, B, C, D, right?
Multiple choice
Yeah,
type
multiple
of
choice,
questions.
yeah, actually, yeah. They were the most difficult ones.
What about your writing exam? What kind of topics, what kind of essay type did you have to write? And what about your task 1?
Do the advantages overweight disadvantages?
You had an advantage and disadvantage type of essays for to develop your ideas. And do you have any ideas to write this kind of essays while you were writing exam?
Yeah, the day before my real exam, I've discussed this with my maths teacher. Hi, Abdullah Haka. So he advised me to write like in the first body. I have to write, for example, disadvantages, and then I have to write about advantages. And in conclusion, I have to write about my own opinion and say if the disadvantages overweight the advantages.
Very good. So let's talk about your mock exam which you have taken now. How was it?
Actually, it was bad. I'm not gonna pretend to be good, because this wave of anxiety has caused me to suffer. I would say to struggle with this, especially part 2. Like I didn't have any ideas to talk about. For example, as my teacher said, Eiffel Tower, but I should have said Eiffel Tower. Yeah, and those like small but really noticeable mistakes, I've made them.
Not a big, our time is limited, but if you want to give thanks and say hello to your family members, maybe you want to say hello for your close friends, you are welcome. And I want to ask you some sort of motivations for our learners to continue preparing for the Ielts exam.
So thank you, Ms. Farida, Mr. Bahadur, Mr. Abdullah, and all of my friends. They've really helped me with the Ielts. They've supported me. They had been supporting me while I was preparing for the Ielts exam. And what about the motivation speech? Then take risks. What else? Prepare more. If you start from 0, then it will take like maximum a year. So improve your speaking, improve your writing, in order not to get like me 5.5. And yeah, that's all I'm gonna say.
Naderbek, I congratulate you one more time to get a 6 band score on the Ielts exam. Most of students, most of people can say it's a kind of lower band score for the candidates, but most of teachers, I mean, we should know that 6 band score is also required. Too much hard working. That's why I congratulate you. And
Thank you so
I
much.
want to thanks for your visit in our studio.
Thank you for having me as well.
And I
was
hope
really
you
nice.
make us happy with your visit in our next programs. After taking 7 or 7, higher than 7.
I will come.
Okay, I wish you all success in your future study as well.
Thank you so much. Good luck to you as well.
Thank you very much. Dear viewers, we have to end up our program, but continue watching our programs. In our next program, we will share you the key secrets of achieving a high band score on the reading part of the Ielts exam. Never stop learning English, never stop practicing for the Ielts exam until you get targeted band score on the Ielts exam. Take care of yourself. See you on our next program. Bye.
A key, a universal key to many.
Understandable. Creative. Effective.
Interesting. Learn the IELTS secrets with us.